Pause for a moment. Just pause. Before you press skip, before you scroll, before your mind tells you I already know what meditation is. Just pause. Because what you are about to hear may be the most important thing you will ever understand about yourself. Not about religion. Not about spirituality as a concept. Not about becoming a monk or sitting cross-legged on a mountain. This is about something far simpler and far more radical. This is about you, the real you, the one that exists beneath all the noise, beneath all the thoughts, beneath all the roles you play every single day. Osho, one of the most misunderstood, most provocative, and most deeply insightful masters of the 20th century, said something that stopped millions of people in their tracks. He said, meditation is not something you do. It is something you discover. Let that land for a moment. You do not do meditation the way you do exercise. You do not perform meditation the way you perform a task at work. Meditation is not an action. Meditation is a recognition. It is the moment you recognize what has always been there, underneath the thinking, underneath the worrying, underneath the planning. A vast, silent, peaceful space. That space is you. And in this video, we are going to go on a journey together. A journey inward. Using Osho's most essential teachings on what meditation actually is, why your mind resists it, how you have been misled about it your entire life, and most importantly, how to actually touch it, right now, today, wherever you are. Stay with me. Let us begin with the most fundamental problem. Almost everyone who comes to meditation comes to it with a completely wrong idea of what it is. They think meditation means stopping the mind. They think meditation means having no thoughts. They think meditation means sitting very still, breathing very slowly, and forcing the brain into silence. And then they sit down, maybe for the first time, maybe after years of trying, and within 30 seconds, thoughts come rushing in. The grocery list, that email you forgot to reply to, the argument from last week, the worry about tomorrow. And immediately, they conclude, I am doing it wrong. I cannot meditate. Meditation is not for me. Osho laughed at this. He laughed deeply, not mockingly, but with great compassion, because he recognized this mistake. He saw it in thousands of people who came to him, educated people, intelligent people, sincere people, and he said something that freed them all. He said, the mind cannot be stopped, and trying to stop the mind is the disturbance. Read that again. The very effort of trying to stop the mind, that very struggle, is the noise. Think about it. When you try very hard to not think about something, what happens? You think about it even more. If someone tells you right now, do not think of a pink elephant, what is the first thing that appears in your mind? The pink elephant. The mind works in a very paradoxical way. Force creates resistance. The harder you push against your thoughts, the louder they become. So Osho's first gift to us is this: stop fighting. Meditation is not a war against your own mind. It is not a battle. It is not discipline in the military sense. Meditation is, at its very core, witnessing, just watching, just observing, without judgment, without preference, without trying to change what is happening. A thought arises, you see it. An emotion stirs, you notice it. A sound from outside enters, you hear it. And you, the one who is watching all of this, that awareness, that silent presence behind the eyes, that is the meditator. That is what Osho called the witness. And here is the revolutionary insight. The witness is already meditation. The moment you step back even 1 millimeter from your thoughts and observe them, you are meditating. Right there, that gap between you and your thought, that tiny space of awareness, that is the doorway to everything. You have probably experienced this without knowing it. Have you ever been so absorbed watching a sunset that for a few seconds, you forgot everything? You forgot your name, your problems, your past, your future. You were simply there, present, alive, at peace. That was meditation. Have you ever been running or swimming or walking in nature, and suddenly everything went quiet inside? The mental chatter just dissolved, and there was just the movement, just the breath, just the aliveness? That was meditation. Osho says these moments are glimpses, accidental glimpses, and the entire purpose of the meditation practices he gave the world is to transform these accidental glimpses into something you can touch deliberately, repeatedly, dependably. Not as a performance, as a way of being. Let us begin with the most fundamental problem. Almost everyone who comes to meditation comes to it with a completely wrong idea of what it is. They think meditation means stopping the mind. They think meditation means having no thoughts. They think meditation means sitting very still, breathing very slowly, and forcing the brain into silence. And then they sit down, maybe for the first time, maybe after years of trying, and within 30 seconds, thoughts come rushing in. The grocery list, that email you forgot to reply to, the argument from last week, the worry about tomorrow. And immediately, they conclude, I am doing it wrong. I cannot meditate. Meditation is not for me. Osho laughed at this. He laughed deeply, not mockingly, but with great compassion, because he recognized this mistake. He saw it in thousands of people who came to him. Educated people, intelligent people, sincere people. And he said something that freed them all. He said, the mind cannot be stopped. And trying to stop the mind is the disturbance. Read that again. The very effort of trying to stop the mind, that very struggle, is the noise. Think about it. When you try very hard to not think about something, what happens? You think about it even more. If someone tells you right now, do not think of a pink elephant, what is the first thing that appears in your mind? The pink elephant. The mind works in a very paradoxical way. Force creates resistance. The harder you push against your thoughts, the louder they become. So Osho's first gift to us is this: stop fighting. Meditation is not a war against your own mind. It is not a battle. It is not discipline in the military sense. Meditation is, at its very core, witnessing, just watching, just observing, without judgment, without preference, without trying to change what is happening. A thought arises, you see it. An emotion stirs, you notice it. A sound from outside enters, you hear it. And you, the one who is watching all of this, that awareness, that silent presence behind the eyes, that is the meditator. That is what Osho called the witness. And here is the revolutionary insight. The witness is already meditation. The moment you step back even 1 millimeter from your thoughts and observe them, you are meditating. Right there, that gap between you and your thought, that tiny space of awareness, that is the doorway to everything. You have probably experienced this without knowing it. Have you ever been so absorbed watching a sunset that for a few seconds, you forgot everything? You forgot your name, your problems, your past, your future. You were simply there, present, alive, at peace. That was meditation. Have you ever been running or swimming or walking in nature, and suddenly everything went quiet inside? The mental chatter just dissolved, and there was just the movement, just the breath, just the aliveness? That was meditation. Osho says these moments are glimpses, accidental glimpses, and the entire purpose of the meditation practices he gave the world is to transform these accidental glimpses into something you can touch deliberately, repeatedly, dependably. Not as a performance, as a way of being. To understand meditation, we must first understand the mind. Because the mind is both the obstacle and the vehicle. Osho described the mind as a machine. An incredibly sophisticated, incredibly powerful, incredibly useful machine that most human beings have completely forgotten how to turn off. The mind's job is to think. That is what it does. It compares, analyzes, categorizes, remembers, plans, fears, desires. All of this is the mind doing its job perfectly. But here is the problem. We have become so identified with the mind that we believe we are the mind. We think, I am my thoughts. Every thought that arises, we claim it. Every fear, every desire, every opinion, we say, that is me. Osho used a beautiful analogy. He said, imagine a river. The river is flowing constantly. Water moving, ripples forming, currents shifting. Now imagine a child sitting on the river bank, watching. The child is not the river. The child is watching the river. Your thoughts are like the river, constantly flowing, constantly moving. And you, the awareness behind the thoughts, you are the child on the bank. But what has happened to most human beings is this. At some point, they fell into the river. They got swept up in the current. They forgot the bank even existed. They are the current now. They are the thoughts. They are the fear, the anger, the desire, the past, the future, all of it, rushing and churning. Meditation is simply climbing back onto the bank. That is all it is. And when you are on the bank, even for one moment, you realize something astonishing. The river is beautiful. The thoughts are fascinating. The emotions are rich and alive. But they are not you. They flow through you. They do not define you. They do not imprison you. This shift in identity, from being the thought to being the awareness of the thought, Osho said this is the single most transformative change a human being can make. Everything else follows from this. When you are identified with the mind, you are a slave to it. Every mood swing is your reality. Every fear is absolute. Every desire is a trap. Every opinion is a wall. When you step back into awareness, you are free. Not because the thoughts stop. They continue. The river keeps flowing. But you are no longer drowning in it. You are watching it with a kind of loving detachment. Now, Osho was very clear about something here. This detachment is not coldness. It is not indifference. It is not becoming a robot or withdrawing from life. In fact, it is precisely the opposite. He said, the man who can witness becomes more loving, not less. More feeling, not less. More alive, not less. Because he is no longer afraid of his own experience. When you are not identified with your emotions, you can feel them fully without being destroyed by them. When you are not identified with your thoughts, you can use them brilliantly without being controlled by them. Meditation does not make you less human. It makes you more human, more whole, more real. Osho described meditation not as a single experience, but as a journey through 3 distinct layers. Understanding these layers is enormously helpful because it explains why some days sitting in meditation feels impossible and other days it feels like coming home. The first layer is the layer of thoughts. When you first sit in stillness, you become aware, perhaps for the first time, of just how much mental activity is happening inside you. Thoughts about the past, plans for the future, judgments about yourself, fantasies, anxieties, memories, dreams. Most people never notice this layer because they are always inside it, always generating new thoughts and immediately chasing after them. But the moment you sit still and simply watch, the sheer volume of mental chatter becomes visible, and it can be overwhelming. Osho says, do not be alarmed. These thoughts were always there. Meditation has not created them. It has simply given you the clarity to see what was already happening. It is like turning on a light in a dusty room. The dust was always there. You just could not see it before. At this layer, your only job is to watch without getting involved. Thought arises, you see it. Thought passes, you let it go. You do not analyze the thought. You do not judge yourself for having the thought. You do not try to hold onto a pleasant thought or push away an unpleasant one. You simply watch. Over time, and this may take days, weeks, or months of regular practice, the thoughts begin to slow down on their own. Not because you force them to, but because they are, like all things, impermanent. When you stop feeding them with your attention, they naturally quiet. The second layer is the layer of emotions. As the thoughts begin to settle, what often surfaces next is emotion. Deep, sometimes very old emotion. grief that was never fully felt, joy that was suppressed, anger that was buried, love that was never expressed. Many people get frightened at this layer and stop meditating because it feels like meditation is making them sadder or more anxious or more emotional. But Osho says this is a purification. These emotions were always there, stored in the body, in the nervous system, in the tissues. Meditation does not create them. It simply creates the safety for them to finally surface and move through you. The body knows how to heal itself emotionally, just as it knows how to heal a wound physically if you give it space and silence. Meditation is that space. At this layer, again, the practice is the same. Watch, allow, do not judge, do not suppress, do not dramatize. Simply be present with what is arising. Let the emotion be felt fully, and then let it pass. Because it will pass. Everything passes. That is the nature of all experience. The third layer, and this is the one Osho speaks of with the most love, is the layer of pure awareness, pure silence. When thoughts have been witnessed and allowed to settle, and emotions have been witnessed and allowed to move through, what remains is something extraordinary. A vast, clear, luminous silence. A sense of being that has no boundaries, no edges, no problems. This is what the ancient traditions called samadhi, or presence, or awakening, or, in Osho's own favorite word, suchness. Just this. Just being here. Just existing, without needing anything to be different than it is. Osho says that even one moment in this third layer changes a person forever. Because once you have tasted this, once you have touched this peace that is not dependent on any outer condition, you realize something that no amount of intellectual understanding can give you. You realize that you are okay. Fundamentally, unconditionally, eternally okay. Not because your life is perfect. Not because your problems have been solved. But because at the very core of your existence, there is this stillness, this peace, this presence. And it was always here, waiting for you to come home to it. Before we move into the practice, let us clear up the most damaging myths about meditation. Because these myths keep millions of sincere people away from one of the most transformative discoveries available to a human being. Myth number 1. You need to be religious or spiritual to meditate. Osho rejected this completely. He said meditation has nothing to do with religion. It is not Hindu. It is not Buddhist. It is not Christian. It is not New Age. Meditation is the science of the inner world, just as physics is the science of the outer world. You do not need to believe in God. You do not need to adopt any philosophy or worldview. You simply need the willingness to sit with yourself honestly. Meditation is secular in the deepest sense. It belongs to every human being who breathes. Myth number 2. You need to sit in a special posture. Again, Osho says relax. The traditional cross-legged posture is helpful for those who find it comfortable. But if your knees hurt and your back aches and your entire sitting is spent fighting physical discomfort, you are not meditating. You are suffering. Sit in a chair. Lie down if needed. Walk. Stand. What matters is alertness and relaxation, not the shape of your body. Osho actually created most of his famous meditations as movement practices, precisely because he understood that the modern body is not accustomed to stillness. You need to move the excess energy out first. Then stillness becomes natural, not forced. Myth number 3. Meditation takes years before it works. This myth is perhaps the most discouraging, and it is false. Meditation can be touched in this very moment. You do not need to have practiced for years. You simply need to be present, fully, honestly, without agenda, for one breath. Just try this right now. Take one breath, just one, and give it your complete, undivided attention. Feel the air entering your nostrils. Feel your chest or belly rising. Feel the brief, beautiful pause at the top of the inhale. Then feel the exhale, slow, warm, releasing. Were you present for that? even for half a second, that was meditation. It grows with practice. The depth increases. The consistency improves. But it is not absent from beginners and present only in experts. Meditation is available to everyone in every moment. Myth number 4. You have to give up your normal life to meditate. Osho was famously against monasticism as a mass prescription. He said, "I want meditators who live fully in the world, who love, who work, who laugh, who cry, and who bring the awareness of meditation into every corner of their life." He called this vision the new human, a person who is simultaneously rooted in the inner world and fully engaged in the outer world. Not a monk who has escaped from life, but a warrior of consciousness who has learned to be present amidst all of life's beautiful, messy, unpredictable reality. You can meditate in the morning and then go to the office. You can bring the spirit of witnessing, of gentle, open awareness into a conversation, a meal, a walk in the park. This is Osho's vision, not escape from the world. Transformation of the world through the transformation of the individual who lives in it. Myth number 5. Meditation is a selfish, self-absorbed practice. Many people feel guilty about taking time for inner silence. They feel they should be doing something more productive, more useful, more helpful to others. Osho addressed this with characteristic directness. He said, "The most generous thing you can do for the world is to become genuinely conscious. An unconscious person, no matter how busy, no matter how well-intentioned, spreads unconsciousness. They react instead of respond. They wound without knowing it. They give from a place of emptiness and create more emptiness. A conscious person, someone who has touched their own inner peace, radiates that peace without effort. They are genuinely present with others. They listen truly. They act from fullness. The world needs conscious people far more than it needs busy people. Now let us do something together. Not talk about meditation. Not describe it from the outside. But actually step inside. Find a comfortable position. You can sit in a chair with your feet flat on the floor, your hands resting on your thighs, your back gently upright but not rigidly straight. Or sit on the floor if that is comfortable. Close your eyes if you feel safe to do so. Take 3 deep breaths. Not forced, not dramatic. Just 3 full, generous breaths where you feel your whole body breathing. The chest expanding, the belly softening, the shoulders dropping. Now let your breath return to its natural rhythm. Do not control it. Do not make it slower or deeper or more spiritual. Just let it breathe you. Now simply notice. What do you hear? Not labeling, not judging, just noticing that sound is happening. A bird, a car, the hum of something electrical. Your own breath. Just sounds arising in awareness. What do you feel in your body? Not analyzing, not worrying, just noticing that sensation is happening. The weight of your body in the chair. The temperature of the air on your skin. Perhaps a slight tension somewhere, or a sense of ease somewhere else. Just sensations arising in awareness. What thoughts are present? Not chasing them, not suppressing them, just noticing that thinking is happening. A memory surfaces. A plan forms. A face appears. Just thoughts arising in awareness. And now, gently, gently, ask yourself, who is noticing all of this? Who is the one hearing the sounds? Who is the one feeling the sensations? Who is the one watching the thoughts? That noticing itself, that quiet, open, effortless watching, that is you. The real you. Not the thought, not the emotion, not the role, but the awareness in which all of it is arising. Stay there, in that awareness. Just for these few moments. You do not need to achieve anything. You do not need to feel bliss or peace or light. You simply need to rest as the awareness you already are. If a thought pulls you away, no problem. The moment you notice you have been pulled away, you are already back. The noticing itself is the return. There is no failure in meditation. There is only forgetting and remembering. Forgetting and remembering. Each act of remembering, Each moment of returning to the witness is itself a moment of meditation. Keep breathing, keep watching, keep resting. This is meditation. Not complicated, not mystical in the sense of being remote or exclusive. Utterly simple, utterly immediate, utterly available, right now, wherever you are, whoever you are, whatever you have done or not done in your life. This silent watching space inside you has never been damaged. It has never been corrupted. It has never been stained by your past, your failures, your regrets, your fears. It is pristine, always. It was pristine when you were born. It was pristine when you made your worst mistakes. It is pristine right now, as you sit here, listening. Osho called this your original face. The face you had before you were given a name. Before you were taught who you should be. Before the world put its labels on you. And the extraordinary, almost unbelievable truth is this: you never lost it. You can never lose it. It is your very nature. Meditation is simply the art of remembering this again and again and again until the remembering becomes so frequent, so natural, so effortless that you live from it. You breathe from it. You love from it. Until your entire life becomes, in Osho's words, a meditation in motion. So how do you begin? How do you take this understanding and turn it into something real and practical in your daily life? Osho gave very grounded, very human advice on this. Start small. Do not begin by deciding you will meditate for 1 hour every day. For most modern people, that is unrealistic and will lead to frustration and abandonment within a week. Start with 10 minutes in the morning. Just 10 minutes. Before you touch your phone. Before you turn on any screen. Before the day's demands rush in. Give yourself 10 minutes of being present. You can sit with your eyes closed and simply watch your breathing. You can do the watching practice we described above. You can walk slowly in your garden or on your balcony, feeling each step as if for the first time. You can sit by a window and watch the light with total, gentle attention. There is no prescribed formula. The prescription is be present, honestly, without agenda, for 10 minutes. Then, and this is the part most people miss, try to carry a thread of that awareness into your day. Not meditating all day, not sitting with your eyes closed at your desk, but bringing a certain quality of watchfulness with you as you move through your ordinary activities. While drinking your morning tea or coffee, actually taste it. Feel the warmth of the cup in your hands. Be present with that simple act of drinking. While walking from one room to another, feel your feet on the ground. Feel the movement of your body through space. For even 30 seconds, be fully there. While in conversation, truly listen. Not planning your response, not judging what is being said, not somewhere else in your mind, but actually fully present with a human being in front of you. These small moments of presence, scattered through the day, accumulate. They deepen. They begin to weave together into a continuous thread of awareness that runs beneath all of your activity. This is what Osho means when he speaks of meditation as a way of life. Not a formal practice divorced from living, but a quality of presence that infuses every moment of living. He also emphasized, be patient with yourself. Genuinely, warmly patient. The mind has been in the habit of unconscious, reactive thinking for your entire life. For most of us, for decades. It will not transform overnight. The river has been running in its channel for a very long time. A new channel takes time to carve. But every moment of genuine presence deepens that new channel. Every moment of honest watching adds to your capacity for stillness. It is cumulative. It builds. And there will come a day, Osho promises this with great certainty. There will come a day when you sit down, and the stillness is already there, waiting for you. When you close your eyes, and within moments you are home. When the witness is so familiar, so natural, so accessible, that it is simply who you are. That day may not be today, but it is closer than you think. We are living in a time of extraordinary outer development and extraordinary inner poverty. We have more technology, more comfort, more entertainment, more information than any generation in history. And we also have, by almost any measure, more anxiety, more loneliness, more disconnection, more meaninglessness than almost any generation in recent history. Something is missing, not outside, inside. Osho saw this coming. He spoke about it with urgency. He said the outer journey, the journey of science, of technology, of civilization, has been magnificent, breathtaking. He celebrated it. But, he said, the inner journey has been almost entirely neglected. And a tree that grows only outward, with no roots growing deeper, that tree will eventually topple. Meditation is the root system. It is the inner ground from which a genuinely sane, genuinely loving, genuinely creative human life can grow. Without it, we are busy. Enormously busy. Running and rushing and achieving and acquiring and scrolling and performing. But underneath all that busyness, a gnawing emptiness. A quiet but persistent sense that something essential is missing. That something is you. The real you. The aware, present, peaceful you that was there before the world told you who to be. Meditation is how you find your way back. Not as an escape from the world. Not as a rejection of life. But as the rediscovery of the one who was always here, silently watching, patiently waiting, infinitely open. Osho said, the whole world can be transformed, but only through transformed individuals. And an individual is transformed through one thing, and one thing only, awareness. Awareness. Presence. The simple, radical, life-changing act of being here, now, watching, without judgment, without agenda, without anywhere else to be. This is meditation. Not a technique, not a religion, not an achievement. A homecoming. If you have watched until this point, truly watched, not just heard, then something has already begun in you. A seed has been planted. Or perhaps, more accurately, a seed that was always there has been watered. I want to invite you to do one thing before you close this video. Sit still for just 2 minutes. Right now, with the video paused or ended. Put down your phone, look away from the screen, and simply sit with yourself. Watch your breathing. Watch your thoughts. Watch the one who is watching. 2 minutes. That is all. And if those 2 minutes feel different from how you usually feel, more quiet, more spacious, more real, then you have touched it. You have touched what Osho spent his entire life pointing toward. Over the next 99 days on this channel, we are going to go deeper. Together, we will explore Osho's specific meditation techniques, dynamic, Kundalini, Nataraj, Vipassana, and many more. We will look at his most profound teachings on love, on relationships, on freedom, on death, on the nature of consciousness itself. But every single video in this series will be rooted in what we have explored today. Because without this foundation, everything else is just beautiful words passing through an unchanged mind. With this foundation, everything changes. Subscribe, stay, come back tomorrow. Because the journey inward is the greatest journey you will ever take. And it starts with a single breath taken in full awareness. Right now, just this.